My
Sure.
name is Alex. I have an Instagram and also a YouTube Love Sugar Show. So, want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be on your show.
Yeah, no problem. And the first question that I ask anyone that I ever interview is how's everything going? Not just in your personal life and music life, but both of them together because they're both equally important.
Right. I'm doing good these days, but sometimes things happen, and I feel a lot of times when my inspiration for writing music comes about is when I'm in like a sad mood or more depressing vibe. It's
Mhm.
hard for me to find like really happy music good. Like of course there are exceptions, especially in like classical music, but like in like regular like today's music, it's hard to
Mhm.
find for me to find like happy music like that enjoyable. So yeah, I think sad music is the most beautiful for me probably.
I mean, I agree with that. I love sad music or like angry music. Like, I don't know, it just has this way of making you feel better.
Right. I guess we do listen to heavy metal, so most of that isn't that happy. They're more angry, anything.
Very true. And I see you have a friend in the background as well.
Yeah. She's from a game called If. She's in a horror RPG game. It's a little small game that one of the some creator in Japan made. It's a short game, but it's gained quite a few cult following, and it's I really like it, and I think it gave me some inspiration for some of the songs in the album as well. So I just kind of put her there because it fits the vibe.
Yes, very much so.
Mhm.
So let's talk about the album. I have to ask, I listened to it. I loved it because it had like the cutesiness, it had like the piano, and then it had like the heavy metal aspect too. So, like, this is perfect. So, I have to ask, what kind of atmosphere were you looking to create with this one?
Yeah, but first, thank you for listening and enjoying it. It means a lot for someone. I think as when I make this music, it's mainly for myself. But like with anything, I think most artists create like once the album is done and put out there, they want others to listen to it and connect to it. So
Hmm.
for me, like for someone else like you who connect with the album, I think that means a lot. That means I've kind of succeeded a bit in some of the things that I've done. But sorry, what was the question again? I went off tangent and I forgot.
Oh, it's okay. I was just asking what kind of atmosphere were you looking to create in this album?
Right. I wanted to create something that is melancholy and sad, but not a bit of angry. But there's not much happiness in this album to really, aside from a few parts like the beginning of the album. But most of it is very melancholy. But even though the album is each songs in the album kind of tell a separate story, but I like to arrange them so that they flow really smoothly, and then listening to the whole album feels more like one experience. And I've always liked the more cinematic music. Like the albums that got me into composing is mainly the stuff that's more like cinematic and atmospheric. So that's what I like to create it as well. I want to make it so that the album is kind of like watching
Hmm.
a movie, but in audio form.
I think it's really funny how you say it's like melancholy, kind of sad,
Mhm.
because I'll put a picture up for everyone too. The album art is so cute. So when
Yeah.
you see it,
Mhm.
you're like, oh, this is going to be so cute. It's going to be so fun. I loved it. It didn't make me
Mhm.
sad. It actually made me happy because I love piano and metal. I think
Mhm.
they go really well together. So I think it's funny that you say that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love the artist too because I followed the artist Muta on Twitter for quite a while. I guess they call
Hmm.
it X now, but I
Yeah.
followed her for quite a while, and yeah, and I really like her style because it's always dark, but also in a cutesy way. And I think a lot of the horror RPG games that I played has that similar vibe. Like it as well. It's dark and sad, but it's also like the character is really cute, like this over here.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to do something like that as well, and I feel like there's not really many metal bands that do something like that, so I want to do something different, and hopefully people really will like it.
Yeah, I loved it. Like I said, I was thinking maybe it'd be like more grindcore-ish, but that's not
Mhm.
really what it is. It's like classical, cute metal.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of a lot of the metal albums that I've listened that has like cutesy anime covers are usually like the grindcore stuff. So I think you're right there and kind of expecting it to be grindcore, but yeah, that's not really what I'm into or making. So
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was
Mhm,
going into grindcore, which I like too, but I'm like, oh, this
mhm.
is very different. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, but the piano stuff, I love piano music too because I grew up learning to play piano, but not by choice.
Yeah.
Back in the days when I was little, my parents made me learn piano, but like I didn't like it back in the days. But I think as kids, all you want to do is just play video games, go out with your
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, but now that I've more grown up, I realized that actually that was good. Thank you for making me learn piano.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So the first song of the album is like 11 minutes long. How do you
Mhm.
determine like how long a song is, or when it's like, okay, this song is like gone on too long, we need to stop it, or we need to make it longer? Like, how do you kind of determine that in each song?
That is a bit tricky, but I think when I start writing, I kind of have an idea of if I want a song to be a long or a shorter song, but there's not really a specific time limit that I set it out. Like the first song, I probably expect it to be around 10 minutes, but
Mhm.
writing it became something like 11 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in my head, I have an idea of like when I set up the album, I want like the first track to be like long or like the second track to be a bit shorter, things like that. But
Yeah.
nothing specific.
One thing I do have to say about the first song, I know you said it was like 11 minutes,
Mhm,
is most songs that are that long, usually it's like it starts here and you're like, it kind of feels like two songs that were meshed into one. But with this one, it's like you can tell it's the same song. And I haven't heard that before. So I really appreciate that about that song because it's like an art. It just is, it's perfect. It doesn't feel like it's just two songs that are, put together.
mhm. Yeah, thank you for realizing my intent. But yeah, that is my intent. I don't really like long prog songs, or well, I don't mind them, but like with this album, each long song, I don't want it to be divided into like movements. I
Hmm.
want it to be like the same story. So each song is like a short story. So I don't want to make into like different movements. Like if you listen to like Dream Theater, a lot of their songs are divided into like three movements or something.
Hmm.
So like that's not really what I'm trying to go for, at least not with this album.
And one thing I noticed too with the first song, which I love, I listened to it quite a few times.
Oh, that's
It
good.
starts out, it starts out like musically, and you're like, okay, this is nice. It's really calming. And then the piano kicks in, the guitar kicks in, and then come the vocals, and you're like, I didn't think this song could get any better, and then it does, like with
Mm,
every step of the way. And it kind of takes it to a whole nother level because when you start out, you're like, okay, this is great. And then it just blows your mind by the end. What was the creative process behind that?
uh, my when I write a song, I guess I'll take the first song for example. But usually my process for most of the songs are similar. I
Mhm.
would usually don't start by just sitting down and like figuring out, okay, today I'm gonna write this. Usually I try to write like little melodies in my head, like when I'm just doing about my daily life, like in bed before sleep or like commuting to work. I would like in my head, I'm like trying to write music and stuff. And if I find something that I think, oh, this is kind of catchy, or I think this would make a good theme for a song, then if I was home, then I would take out my phone and record a bit on the guitar or piano. Or if I'm outside or like if I'm on a bus, sometimes I will like take it and put it on my mouth and hum the melody. And if I have
Mhm.
a rhythm thing, then I will record myself tapping on the bus and then like
Yeah.
just getting that rhythm in there. And then once I have a few melodies that I think can go together, then I start putting the songs together. And of course, like have to make sure the transitions work and all, so that it doesn't feel like disjoint. And then once I have enough ideas, that I feel like could make a full song, then I start going on to MuseScore and like setting the whole score together. I like writing them out into like a full score, like PDF.
Hmm.
And then from there, I start actually practicing from that and recording. That's basically my process. But I used to write down the drums in MuseScore as well, but these days I get more lazy. So then I just yeah, these days I just kind of write out like the guitars, the piano, and the bass, and I don't really record the vocals ahead of time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and for those, and then I started going into Ableton, which is my main DAW. Been using it for like 10 years, and I don't want to learn a new DAW now. It's way too painful to learn a new one. Yeah. And then I start kind of like setting up the drums, like the basic MIDI drums in Ableton, and then recording the bass. That's the first thing I always record, bass and drums together. And then I start recording more instruments on top of that, and then finally it's like refine the drums. But yeah, that's basically my process of creating it.
Oh, wow. How long does that normally take? Because it sounds like a lot of work.
It is quite a bit of work. Writing usually takes the most time for me because, because like the creative process isn't easy. A lot of times I would come up with stuff, and then when I started writing it down, I was like, you know what, this doesn't sound good. I'm sure this happens to everyone, all artists. But yeah, usually it takes about 6 months for me to compose everything, and then starting to like composing everything, as in like getting all the scores down as well. And then when I start to record, it probably takes about another 6 months to record. For this album's a bit longer because I've been a bit lazy in between and like
Mhm.
not recording every day. So it took about like 8 months for me to record everything in this album. And then mixing took another like 2 months. And then of course marketing, it's a whole nother beast. The whole album was finished recording and everything and mastered by the end of probably November last year, but it's not
Mhm.
until like later this month, that it would come out. So yeah, it's a long process overall.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, at least you're honest about it. Like, yeah, I was just lazy. I mean, that's why it took a little longer. I feel you.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Especially like these days, I've been randomly playing video games lately. So like I've been into this Yakuza series a lot. So like
Hmm.
sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I kind of want to just continue the game story this time. So no recording today. It
Yeah.
isn't great, but it happens sometimes.
I mean, when you find a game that all you want to do is play, that's when you know you found a good game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Mhm.
And for this album, did you try anything new or something maybe like outside of your comfort zone that you haven't previously done before?
Uh, It's I with this album I do try a few things, but I guess with the my previous album, that was the first time when I tried all this harsh vocal and actually like doing something really metal. Because before this, I had some little small project that I won't even mention. It's kind of embarrassing now, but I was just doing like progressive rock, more like things, because I feel like there was always something holding me back from doing like more growly, harsh vocals. But
Hmm.
like with this Swanwriter project, it's like the first time I've tried doing something like outside of my comfort zone for sure. And I
Yeah.
think the second album is when I'm a lot more comfortable than the previous one, because I feel like I found my voice kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, this album it's quite different from the previous one, as in I try a lot incorporating a lot more of these classical elements in it, being a big classical fan as well. So I like arranging a lot with piano on this one. I don't think the last one has this much piano in it. And
Hmm.
also, I try using a lot of the string trio arrangement as well. I find a lot of metal bands that are more symphonic. They try to do a whole like orchestral arrangement, but
Yeah.
I prefer something more intimate. So I try keeping it more like chamber music. So then it's mainly just piano quartet on the back, like piano, and then just one violin, one viola, and one cello. For most of the songs, anyway. For the last song, I wanted to make like an explosive ending kind of thing. So I used a whole string orchestra in it. Yeah, I guess that is something that I tried different on this.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I love orchestra. I love metal. So when those two
Mhm.
combine, like it's amazing.
Right. Yeah, I do like a lot of the orchestral metal, symphonic metal as well. It's Well, I mean, I feel like there's a lot out there, but there's not that many that grab my interest. But yeah, I do love like symphonic metal, like Dimmu Borgir, that new album came out. I think that's really good. It was a
Mhm.
pleasant surprise. So I've been listening to it a lot lately too.
Yeah, I love them too. I don't know. I feel like since I listen to so much music, I'm like, I didn't think I liked the genre, but yeah, add that, add that, add that. So,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, a lot of times I think I like enjoying new metal genres as well. Like I like searching for new bands a lot. I think the more you listen, the more kind of you get more ideas in your head, and the more you get inspired. So I like to listen to a lot of different things, and I like mashing things up together. Don't want to be generic.
yeah. And I don't know if other people are like this too, but I feel like the more I learn about the creative process, how the songs came about, like how the artist is in general, like I feel like it makes me like that album or, like dislike it however, that artist is. I feel like that kind of adds something to it because it's not just an album. It's like you got to know how it was built, how it was made, the emotions behind it.
Yeah, you are right in that aspect. I too like to read about the behind the scenes of the albums I like especially like artist interviews. Like I like reading them or watching them a lot. It feels like it feels like you are a bit closer to the artist that you like, and also you
Mhm.
get into a glimpse of their mind and how they do things as well. And I think everyone is different, so it's interesting to learn how different bands do things.
Yeah, for sure. So for anyone interested in like listening to this album, what themes will they like explore from the beginning to the end of the album?
Yes. The main theme across the album is probably there's not really one main theme, but depression is probably one thing that comes up a lot. A lot of the songs are just like, especially the first song. The first song, it's a full just a horror story of a young girl who is an orphan and has nowhere to go. And then she's taken in by this woman who is supposedly kind. But then as the song progresses, and then at the end of the song, you realize like she walks into this room where there's just like bodies hangings, and then and this woman is bathing in their blood. So like this is just inspired by the Blood Countess Elizabeth Bathory. She's famous.
Hmm.
I'm sure everyone knows her, but inspired by that story. So then this girl walks in and finds out that this woman is just someone evil who's bathing in their blood so that she can get younger. So it's just a classic Gothic horror story in the first one. The other tracks, like the next one, Labyrinth, it's more of
Hmm.
a psychological horror kind of theme. It's about someone who is constantly stuck in their mind, and then they just walking around in circle. And then in the second half, they're basically like, "Someone, please try to set me free from all this, from my own head." Um,
Hmm.
and then the third song is "The Girl on the Wall." It's the one that is inspired by the It game. This one right here. Uh, Yeah, and it's also it has a bit of psychological horror as well. I like it because the it talks about an artist who is constantly creating works, but then also scratching it and then throwing all his works away and hiding most of them because he's not happy with them. I like to think of it as an artist who constantly tries to make something perfect, but then stuck by his own perfectionism, um, he keeps tormenting himself and discarding his own works. But then ultimately, he does create a masterpiece that is "The Girl on the Wall." And then
Hmm.
that's the story of the third song. The next one is more of an interlude, Waltz of the Lost Ghost. I like to make it more like a Gothic horror ghost story.
Hmm.
It's just driven by a waltz. It's in minor key, and then it evolves into like a harsh noise wall. Because I don't listen to a lot of harsh noise, but a lot of the harsh noise is very interesting to me. So I like to incorporate that in here as well, to make it more of a like just unexpected for the user, for not for the user, the listener. Sorry, my main job kind of kicked in my head there. Um, for the listeners, so then when they're listening to like this, just this waltz, and then randomly a wall of harsh noise comes in. But this is just a classic ghost story, and then I also use a sample from a really old radio show where they talk about like some ghost story, and then I think that adds in the mood as well. And
Hmm.
so this interlude kind of divides the album into like two halves, not really, but it's kind of like in the middle, like a breather, because the last two tracks in the album are the longest two tracks.
Hmm.
Betrayal is another one that's more of psychological horror, kind of, but it's about a girl who is betrayed by her best friend, and it's also inspired by another horror game called The Witch's House. And this girl, who's the protagonist, trusts her best friend with her life, and then eventually she was betrayed. And even though she was betrayed, she keeps waiting for the friend to return. But of course, all's in vain. Yeah. And then that's the longest song, and then I like connecting that with the last song, and then the last song is a bit different theme, but I think the last song is also has the heaviest theme. It's about a person who can't come to the terms with the loss of their best friend who lost their life due to depression. So
Hmm.
I think it's the heaviest theme, and then in some part of the song, the narrative goes like, "Let help me set the ghosts of everyone who lost their way free," because depression. I think it's like even after like I in this song I made so that even after death,
Hmm.
their minds are still tormented, so their ghosts are still roaming about freely. They can't be free yet. But yeah, it's the heaviest theme in the album, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole album from start to end, basically.
And would you say like you write about this because like, it helps like get those feelings out, or would you say like it's more like to help other people who are kind of like struggling with the same things, or,
Yeah,
it's
I think
cool.
it's yeah, it's sorry I interrupted you a bit, but I think it's both, for myself as well. I do struggle with it quite a lot, but also I know there's a lot of people who's struggling with out there because because like when I go online and on such, I'd see a lot of people suffering with depression. So I
Hmm.
do like, and I think it's probably similar to me. A lot of people find joy in the darker things, like especially like in like darker music as well. So I like writing dark music, and I think a lot of people can probably relate to it. And I think listening to it, um, it finds like me personally, it fills me with joy when I find like a lot of these depressing music. So I
Yeah.
think it helps me getting all these emotions out, and hopefully someone else it can help them as well.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that like, especially in metal,
Mhm.
I've had a lot of interviews, and a lot of it is like about, things that are like real life things that I'm like, well, this isn't something that people are talking about, but a lot of metal bands are. And
Mhm.
like musicians are like speaking up about it. How do you feel about that kind of like in this day and age that more people are like, bringing it to people's attention?
I think it's great, because probably back in the days, a lot of these topics are more taboo and not many people talk about it. But I think it's great that a lot of bands are speaking out about these topics, or even like other topics like modern problems. I think it's great because a lot of these things shouldn't be taboo. I think they should be spoken about freely, and I think the more people talk about them, the more people realize, oh, I'm not alone in this. Like, there's a lot of people like me,
Mhm.
and it's kind of formed like an invisible community around the world. So it's great. I think bands are doing the right thing these days.
I think so too. I think it's awesome that, things are just like, oh, we don't talk about that. They're like, no, let's
Mhm.
make a whole album about it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of bands are like that too. Yeah, I admire
Mhm.
them.
And I know we spoke a little bit about this, but you've been playing piano from an early age, and from what I understand, classical piano of all the
Mhm.
best, like Beethoven and Chopin and things like that. How does that kind of shape your music nowadays?
Mhm. Um, Nowadays, to be honest, I've listened to a bit less classical than you used to. Doesn't mean I don't listen to it, but back in the days, there would be times like there was like a 2 or 3 years period where I listened like to nothing but classical music. Um,
Hmm.
but I think it do shape my how I write things a lot because like first of all, I like writing things in like notation formats. So like that's one thing. Like, and I like to be really organized, and that's really something that classical music is. Like a
Hmm.
lot of classical, it's unlike jazz where people just improvise things. I like writing things down and then just playing things as I've written them. Like I like planning everything ahead in my head. So that's why I write all my music down. But of course, when I record, sometimes I'll be like, oh, this chord actually sounds better with a different voicing. And then I do it like slightly differently. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, classical music do shape my how I write things a lot. And I do like trying to make my, and especially the long song formats. I think a lot of it comes from either my love of progressive rock and also my love for classical music as well, because most classical music isn't short. Like a lot of them, the symphonies are like 30 minutes long. Like I think a lot of people these days don't have the patience to listen to all that, especially
Hmm.
with like TikToks and Instagram reels. Like people are just like, oh, 30 seconds, great, I like this. Uh, but yeah, but maybe for me, I'm a bit old school in that I like listening to full albums as they are. Most of the time, I do that. I don't really pick out singles and listen. And classical music as well. I like listening to like a whole symphony or a concerto from start to end. Um, but of course, that requires time. I think a lot of people these days don't have the time to just sit down and listen to one whole thing. But I think it's a great experience, and people should do that more often, maybe.
Oh, I agree. I feel like TikTok has ruined our brain. It's like, okay, a minute and a half. Oh, that's too long. I can't watch that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, every time I see a long TikTok, I just like drag that scroller up and be like, "Oh, what happens at the end?"
Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok does ruin our attention span for sure.
That's why I love getting albums and listening to them from like beginning to end because I'm like, okay, I can have my attention span. And I think I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think this album is best listened from like start to finish versus like jumping around. Was that like intentional?
Yes, that is definitely the intention. So I'm glad you feel that way too. I've set up the album so that the songs flow quite smoothly from one another,
Mhm.
subjectively. Because I'm sure someone's gonna think, "Oh, you know what? Actually, it sounds disjoint." But I hope most people don't think that. I like making it so that it's more like one experience, listening to the whole album from start to finish because I think the atmosphere of the album is it's pretty atmospheric and cinematic. So I think if you can spend time and just listen to this album from start to finish, it'll be rewarding in the end.
And I can definitely say it was. So you guys like need to listen to this album. Like it's definitely going on my playlist, like for sure.
Great, thank you.
So what future ambitions do you have for like this project, like next albums, like ideas?
Yes, I'm always thinking of new ideas. Like even when I was recording the album, I start like planning for the next albums. But right now I have two different ideas of how to take this project in. But I think it's just a matter of time, like which album comes first. Of course, I don't have the songs fully written out yet, but I do want to on one hand, I want to take it towards more classical and more dark and dissonant approach. And the other hand,
Mhm.
I want to incorporate more exotic feelings in it. Like I have some traditional Japanese instruments, and I would like to also incorporate into it and do something like completely different, something that like most people haven't tried yet. But
Mhm.
but right now, I feel like I'm not fully comfortable in doing that yet. So maybe that might come after the next album. But yeah, I would like to. There's a lot of ideas I want to do, but I want to do something that like most people haven't done with, and I want to make music that I personally feel like I want to find out more and like listen to
Mhm.
more. But yeah, of course, every time I think that it doesn't go great, as in like after I record the album and listen to it myself like 100 times, by the time the album's out, I don't really want to listen to it anymore. At least not for like a few months, and then after that, I was like, oh, time to go back and re-listens. And I
Yeah.
think for me personally, when that happens, like when I've listened to it 100 times, I know where all the problems in the album is. Like when I listen to the song and I'm like, oh, this part, I wish I could have done it better. But
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to say like, to call it quit because the like the perfectionism in me is just screaming like, no, you have to like revise this forever.
Yes.
Yeah, And like especially when you mix as well, I feel like a lot of people have this problem too, but like they just keep changing, tweaking very little things in the mix, and they're like, is this better? No, it's worse actually.
Yeah.
And then at some point you just have to like, okay, you gotta stop.
Well, I know the album isn't out yet or even started or created, but I already want to listen to it just based on that description.
Great. Yeah, I hope it will be it will be it will be polished and great. Hopefully in I want to say 1 year, but that's probably tricky because of how long I take to do things. So probably in another 2 years there will be another album, I think.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
So I do have to ask, just for the listeners, a lot of artists, like come on camera, and with you it's like more mysterious. Do you think it kind of adds to like your character, or what is behind that?
Right. So one reason why I want to remain kind of more mysterious and not really show my full face is because um, I think a lot of times, like when we see the full musician, there's something mysterious about it. It's kind of gone, unless
Yeah.
the musicians is already like very well established. Like it's a lot of the bands I like that are like they've had like 10 albums out already. So I think like in that sense, I think it's okay to show their face and still maintain like the atmosphere of the music because they have a whole back catalog to back that up.
Yeah.
But for me, right now, at least, I like to remain more mysterious. I like because my music itself isn't anything bright or cheerful, so I like keeping a more dark atmosphere about it.
Yeah.
I think if once more albums are out, probably there will be some reveal or something.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think it's cool. I think it's like it kind of keeps that mysterious piece in there, like, ooh, there's so many bands that do that as well too. And I'm like, I love that because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's mysterious and it makes you focus more on the music versus the artist itself, which I
yeah,
love.
for sure. Yeah, and I think no matter what, people will still look at a band's photo and like before they listen to the music itself, they're gonna look at a band's photo and be like, should I listen to this band or not? So I like people to keep more on like the music itself and like the artwork and the music. So like not on myself right now, not right now.
Yeah, that's like, future use problem.
Yeah, yeah, that's not my problem right now. Right now, well, my goal is just to get people to experience the music as is.
And for the final question, is there anything you'd like to say to anyone who's listened to previous stuff you've done or anyone interested in listening to this album?
Yes, for sure. For anyone who has listened to my last album, thank you so much. Because I'm just a small band here, trying to get my music out to the world and connect to different people. So I think the people who have messaged me about how much they've enjoyed my music, thank you very much. It means a lot to know that my music has connected with someone out there. And for those who are new to my music, please give it a try because there's a lot of love and care going into this music, and I think it's quite different from a lot of the music you have listened to out there. I know a lot of bands say that it's like, oh, my stuff is the best thing ever, it's the newest thing ever, but I won't say it's the best thing ever. But there's a lot of care going into this, and please listen to it. It's very cinematic, it's atmospheric, and I think it will put you in a different state of mind during the period of the album. So please just give it one listen. I'm sure you will enjoy it.
And not to take away from what you said, but I think it's one of the best albums I've listened to this year. So I think it's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope more listeners will think the same as well. Yeah, I'm not looking to get famous or anything. All I want is so that I can create music so that people can enjoy and connect to. That's all my goal.
And I will let you introduce the album when it comes out and where people can listen or grab a copy of it.
Yeah. So the album will be out on June the 26th, which is exactly 1 week from now. It will be released on most major digital platform. Of course, it's on my Bandcamp as well, and then it will be on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that. Um, Eventually, I think one day I would like to make physical copies of it because the artwork from Muta, the artist, is beautiful. So I would like to have them on some special limited edition CD or vinyl as well. But that's a future thing. But yeah, please look at the artwork and listen to the music at the same time. I think it goes really well together.